to Syndicate, who I will say again, even though they haven't been necessarily making noise on the leaderboard overall, they've played particularly well today to their standard, but they are placing better than yesterday. So they're figuring it out. It just comes down to they need a big game.
Quick map look here. You can see Falcons number 4 in cyan, a little light blue left-hand side. And you can see their zone shifting up north as Destroy is finally getting the better of a couple of opponents here, putting some more points on the board. Shifty, Hisoka playing slow, but they do have to rotate. This is an unfavorable zone for the Falcons.
Yeah.
Could see them fall a bit earlier if they're not careful. They know that, though. They're going to play it pretty slow. They're going to play edge of zone. They're going to have to run through Destroy, and they're going to have to run through Omit coming up from the side of Control.
Yeah, and on the other front, as I was going to say, can we get Fnatic's POV here? Because they got Guild right below them, but they also have number 3 in Twisted Minds. So this could get really nasty. Skullface just with the pistol dropping in will not be able to catch Wars by surprise. Noobs was trying to get isolated for another pick, but not going to work out. So again, 3 of our top squads battling for position bottom side prison.
Heretics out immediately. First team gone. Heretics have not been playing the same game they played during group stages. Something is going horribly awry. We'll see if they can come back in the final 3. There's the first team out here as we're deeper into the second circle. Things have definitely changed. Last map, I think we saw 7 teams alive as the resurgence timer closed. So definitely different pacing, likely because of this zone pull. A lot more teams up here. They can hide out in zone. They can hide out inside of buildings as needed, play their lives a bit better than some of the open spaces that Stronghold affords.
And I think the thing here is going to be the timing of when do you want to rotate in and how deep do you want to rotate to, because going through prison is not an easy task, especially with squads like Emit that are fully formed and ready to go. And you can see that's kind of the issue right now for Zig's team. They're trying to make their way kind of around the outside through the bottom side of the circle, but this is just being contested by so many different squads. I mean, you've got legitimately 5 different full teams that are looking to play for this spot on the buy station.
This Zig's team making a nice rotation here. They are one of the top slayers in this map, but they're way down in 11th place right now. They need a banger and a win to even be in the conversation. We head back to Fnatic on top of prison, where they love to live. Yeah. They've been living here since scrims, into solos, into group stages. This is their home, and no one truthfully has been able to contest them there yet, not to any sort of effective measures.
And I love this from Falcons, just to kind of take a quick look. They get the top tower so they can scout out who's on the rooftops and how deep under the rooftops they are, so the rest of the teammates can just hop on up, possibly find a way to fight, but not gonna happen. Biffle, Shifty, both taken down, and wouldn't you know it, it's the local and Hamoud and Zix to take them out of the picture. So now it's just down to Biffle, last one, or pardon me, Hisoka, last one left, and he just has to hold this corner away for his teammates to jump on in, while all of a sudden you look at the kill feed, SGP in trouble, Patsuka coming to life.
We got to find Guild. Guild is deep underneath prison right now at already double-digit eliminations. They're your top team right now, and they're getting wiped by Limax off screen as Hisoka slowly but surely gets his team back into the mix. Wars, here they are. Down right now, the team is on top though. Again, 10 eliminations already. They've been farming the bottom prison, and it's been against Rodrigo. They had a nice early encounter against, I believe it was Fnatic. They had a couple early kills, but all of a sudden they're getting pushed by multiple teams. King AJ goes huge, picks up 2 in the process, and doesn't lose either life while grabbing the eliminations. Very well played in the team fight and securing more elims. Guild is coming alive.
And this isn't going to get any cleaner, by the way. You still have so many teams that are trying to make their way into prison to control the high ground before this next circle gets established. And you can see it's actually going to be on the fast side on the bottom left-hand side. So teams like Twisted Minds going to have to make a decision. Do we rotate up to prison or out towards Harbor? This is going to get nasty inside the cell block.
Yeah, if you're wondering who's gone, by the way, Singapore Syndicate out. They're your second team fully eliminated. That means there's only 12 still on the map as a resurgence timer slowly ticking by. Still plenty of players alive, still plenty of teams. King Matty trying to get some sort of momentum in this map, but constantly over and over again getting pushed by multiple teams. Finally gets the better of one, but it's all in back. Rodrigo is all by himself. He could lose his life here. 1 second remaining, gets his teammate back. They are still alive, barely breathing.
Just barely, and it's not going to feel good for Rodrigo. You know that your teammate coming down is not going to be able to really help you too much because it's just so messy on the top of the prison, which, by the way, Falcons have gotten high ground control. You can see Almond off to Shifty's left. He is sniping right now, by the way, so you have to be careful if your Falcons trying to come across, as it's Guild, who did get kind of pushed off that angle inside. They have to take the water landing and stay outside the picture, try to get themselves in. Now it's time for the Falcons to strike from the high ground.
Falcons want this Fnatic high ground. You can see Almond up on the water tower, playing support, playing anchor as needed to stay alive, and Ahsoka's going to run him off the back, but they're still on top of prison. They are fighting for this position. They know they need it going into closing of Resurgence. This is where you can pick up a ton of eliminations here. We've got 52 seconds until the Resurgence timer closes. Watch out for this timer, because right as it ticks, people will breathe for a second, and then teams will be fully eliminated in a blink of an eye. We still have 12. Everyone holding on to their lives is destroyed, trying to fly back in.
This prison area is just not going to go to any one team, it feels like. Everyone keeps finding a way to get themselves back into full groups of 3. Anxie and the rest of the crew try to make their way over, but at the moment, you really got to take a look to see if Twisted Minds can get themselves back into fighting form. I mean, they are a little bit safer towards the backside of prison. They can rotate a little bit late, but they have to get this buy out. They are near a buy station, so they should get a full loadout here soon as we head back on board with Falcons, still trying to win out the high ground, but Aizen's team back as a full 3 as well, looking to get some action with Team Zix, and they're winning out the day.
That's a huge win down below. Zix was one of the top-ranking teams early in this map. They needed a huge one, and they're getting cut down. Aizen holding on by the hair of their chin, and now finally all back alive. They're finding some success. Yeah. Barely every time, but it's working. Look at the rest of our squads. Our Resurgent timer fully closed. Everybody at risk of being fully eliminated from this lobby, and we do lose another.
Yeah, AB was, we talked about them. They have been placing well, but they have not been able to find kills. They're setting themselves up for another good placement at the top side of the circle you saw for a moment. But as we, again, look at the rotation, a lot of the pressure is going to come about who gets through Industries next. That's the next hot spot as it finds itself center circle. Falcons still looking to win the high ground out, and they have, again, been able to shoot down at least a couple of the members from Fnatic, keeping them at bay just a little while longer.
That third team eliminated is Na'Vi. They cannot get the placements they had during group stages. Something is not working, whether it's just team fights or maybe groups was just that much easier. Teams are playing different. You heard the players talk about this. Teams are playing different, and what they're doing is they're playing together, making these hard, aggressive, high-risk, high-reward playstyle plays where you're pushing as a full team of 3. It's a huge boon. Whoa. Also a huge boon when Biffle just shoots straight and finds eliminations right under the nose of AB Wiz & Co. and answers onto them. They are going to swing on this fight. They believe they can win this. They have a nice position on edge of zone, and the only team contesting them is AB Wiz.
This is a brilliant freaking macro decision from Falcons. You push Fnatic off the high ground at prison, you know that you can rotate low and long because no one's guarding you from the high ground. So they get involved, they get a couple of knocks, but still AB Wiz stays strong. They have to bunker up. The circle is just on the outside, so this is going to be an inevitable battle here between Falcons and AB Wiz.
Off-screen, Guild is on 13 eliminations on the all far right-hand side, but right now, the battle on screen, the battle for the best spot on the map currently, and it's not close. They do lose Hisoka. They are low in health, and AB Wiz is still alive somehow. Throwing shots down does drop Shifty, but Biffle makes it look easy. Answers wiped. See you later, AB Wiz. You might have been second in groups, but today, you're not even close.
And Omid are actually here through the smoke for the buy station, which is what the Falcons actually want. Squad wipe on to team number 7. That's going to be Aizen's team, who did well through prison, but outside of any major multiplier. So the rotation for Falcons still going to get tested here by Amit. The other part of the circle you have to keep your eye on. Guild, like you mentioned, on a bit of a burner. They find themselves right in the mix of all this action you're seeing in the kill feed right now. Twisted Minds playing through the gas, not looking all that healthy. That they're being gate-kept by Fnatic. So a couple of our heavy-hitting squads still in position to try to take a couple of the key fights.
The mood wiped above. I'm looking at Team Vitality on 17 eliminations, bottom prison, fighting for their lives. They're down, way down in 10th place on the leaderboard. This is the game they needed. They make top 8 as well off screen as Skullface is getting his resources up, and Fnatic continues to hold the high ground position. They've got power position. Finally, Twisted Minds answer and do find Skull, but right now they're hanging out and by getting resources for in-game. We are here. In-game is upon us. We still have 8 teams looking for top 5 next multiplier.
Difficult battle right here between Falcons and Amit. Lots of damage starting to get tallied, but it looks like they're still waiting to get Biffle fully revived and up into the action. Damage traded from both hands. This is an aggressive game of tag, but it finally has to make a move. Falcons trying to make a play over towards the high ground. They get the read down low on the Elolam. He'll drop. Shifty around the back, going to get a little bit more safety. No. He gets the shots for another knock. Where's the rest of the team? The answer is nowhere. They get killed out by Amit, who can now reset as the late circle starts to come through.
Falcons sent back to the lobby at 8th place. They did achieve the 1.2 times multiplier, but not a ton. They're going to fall on this leaderboard a little bit, especially with Fnatic still alive and Twisted Minds. Watch out for both of those 2 teams. There are top 2 squads aside from the Falcons, but Vitality is on a barn burner.
Yeah.
They've made top 6. They have a crazy amount of eliminations, staring down the barrel of 20 kills as a team. They needed this. They've got the Kim. We've been waiting for them. Enigma's jumping for joy in the group. green room.
The other part about this, though, is that Guild are also putting together a bit of a heater, and they are right below them. So it's who wins out, the team up top or the team down low. And there's going to be contest. Vitality in trouble as Smith and Aiden make the play forward. Enxian, last one left alive. There is explosions all over. Looks like a Michael Bay film out here. And Vitality will survive and wipe the ground. Now it's just down to our final couple of squads.
A massive mortar falls. Aiden gets the elimination. Vitality is gone. They achieved their multiplier. Here we go. Destroy, welcome to the party, my friend. Not a ton of eliminations to boot. It's all about Guild. Right now, Guild making a move. They needed to make a move in the first half. They're finally doing it in 5. We've got the zone closing. The final zone is going to shrink down on these two teams. Now, folks at home, we've got multipliers galore. It is all about the win. 2x multiplier for the win. And I'm going to be honest, Guild need it bad. Destroy's team is on 4 kills. Guild is on 15. This could be a 30-plus point game if they can get the full wipe. And right now, it's just about who makes the first move.
It's going to be a heal. It's going to be a heal off. There's no way that they want to get rid of the high ground. There are mines all over the place, and Wards will try to check to see where are they. So he gets the information. Wait a second, Guild, where are we going right now? They have to leave the building. That seems to be the case. A little bit of an opportunity for Vision to possibly sneak on forward, but he's super low. He can't quite get into the circle, and Team Destroy will steal away a win. But second place with a lot of kills. Guild won't feel too terribly about that.
Yeah, you can see the look on Destroyed's team faces. They know, hey, we got the win, and frankly, we thwarted Guild from getting a ton of elimination points with that multiplier. But they weren't happy about it because they know they don't have enough. I think they had a total of 6 kills, which would be 12 points. Guild, though, thwarted from a massive game that they desperately needed. Reminder, Guild down in 6th place, only 41.2 points after 4. Chip, that was a 30-point game staring at them, and it will fall to somewhere around about 25.
Yeah, and Guild right now is finding themselves in the position of teams like SGP Syndicate, where they're placing better than they did yesterday. They're kind of getting rid of the ultimate outliers, which are those 14th and 13th place finishes, but they're having a difficult time tallying kills. So this one's going to help out their averages on the day. I'm sure they're going to overall think that this is going to be a success, but still some work to be done.
Well, let's hear from Destroy in the STC Arena with Ben.
The STC Arena, where I'm joined by Team Destroy, who it seems was getting like points that you really, really needed. What was the intermission like? You had 20 minutes to kind of gather your thoughts. What did you guys talk about?
Yeah, during the intermission, we kind of just had to get a strategy down just because our first 4 games, we were very uncoordinated. We didn't really have an anchor set on who was going to play the anchor. This game, my boy Nate was playing the anchor. He allowed me and Raul to go a little bit of rogue. We didn't get as many kills as we wanted, but that's the start to the flow change that we wanted right there. So look forward to not only another dub next game, but more kills in the future coming up right here. So that's a good turn of events to get our flow from last place, obviously to bring us up a little bit there.
Yeah, speaking of flow, it kind of seems like the pace of play has slowed down a little bit coming into these final 4 maps of the day. Do you feel like people are kind of a bit more precautious with how they're playing? They're slowing down a bit?
Yeah, I think some of the teams are playing a tad bit more disciplined, especially since it's the grand finals, and teams don't want to get wiped early and stuff like that. But I think as long as we just rotate and get to a nice spot and pick up a couple of kills on the rotation, that we should continue to be fine and get some more points as well as another dub or 2.
Destroy, you've been absolutely amazing. Congratulations so far, Team Destroy. Let's hope you bring home some more dubs in the second half of this day. But also, your brother's going crazy backstage.
Thank you. Shout out to you guys back at home. Just give me my money. Let's go.
Ooh, okay. With that being said, we're going to head back into our next map of the day to continue the finals.
All right, we are back, man. Hey, check it out. What a good game, and a game for those who needed a regain. We talked about halftime. Those first 4 games blazingly fast, right? Teams needed to settle down a bit, reconvene, figure out what's going on. It's Resurgence, after all. It's all about recovering, and I think a couple of teams definitely did. Team Destroy is wonderful. They take the victory.
Yeah, my team, baby, Raul. Like some of those plays, yeah, I know. We were like, wait, what's going on in those endgame moments? But for Team Destroy, making those adjustments, and they were landing a little bit around living quarters and control, not winning those engagements, falling early, I believe, in one of those drops. I believe the very first game. They were the very first team to fall. So talking amongst each other's and like, okay, what do we need to do to adjust? They were able to step it up.
Step it up and step it up they did. But also Guild, a team that's looking to come up from the depths of the bottom of the leaderboard. That is a tremendous win.
Yeah, you asked me before we went to the break and starting into the second half of the games, what teams kind of we were looking at to maybe break into that top 3. And Guild were in that conversation. They were not too far away. Well, they were far away when it comes down to points, but they were not far down the leaderboard when it comes down to trying to work their way up. And a second place finish with a good amount of kills, that is 1 step out of 4 steps taken to try to move back up to contest these teams for a win. It's not going to be easy at all, but it's more of that from Guild that you hope to see going into the next 3 games.
Well, let's take a look at the final blow, the final moments, that final zone really in general, and there was maybe some wasted opportunities, Infinity.
Yeah, so I want to see this again, because I noticed there was a bit of bad timing, I think. I think there was a player that went deep into the gas, and I think it was Vision. But either way here, I think just timing was not great for Guild on this push. I think they kind of felt forced. They split up to try and make this hit at the same time, and unfortunately, just get pushed out there. Wars gets overwhelmed by Destroy, and the players inside the gas, just not much of a chance.
But can we talk about how Team Destroy was able to get up there? Because for the longest time, it was Team Vitality that had control. They were in 8th place going into that drop, and they were able to pick up so many eliminations to hopefully skyrocket them. But that 1v1 between Z-Smith and Exian, that was key right there, because I don't know if you guys saw it, Noobs was actually coming up from the scaffolding and actually got, I believe it was Exian in the back. So with the streak that was used by Aiden, beautiful place to be able to take down Vitality to let Destroy and them have control over top Prison.
It's big for Twisted Minds, who were playing for placement at the end there. You saw them towards the bottom of Prison, wrapping in towards the Industries. They knew they wanted the height. They knew it was going to be tough to kind of move into a high-populated final circle. So it was the right call for Twisted Minds to make. The only thing is, I don't think you expected for Vitality to have a game like that. And, you know, to talk about Fnatic and Twisted Minds again finding themselves into the end game, that is good placement for both of those teams who are still finding kills. It's going to keep them ahead of the Falcons, or just in and around the Falcons today.
Yeah, taking a look at our highlights, you start to see some teams start to challenge themselves, specifically top 3, okay? Who are we talking about? Falcons, Fnatic, Twisted Minds, I think in that order, if I'm not mistaken. This, though, starting off was a big save. Biffle saving the day.
Yeah, Biffle saves the day, but look, can we talk about Team Zix, though, how their strategies have changed Reflections, because they were also on drop number 2, the first team to fall, landing between Control and Living, but deciding to make that play. Biffle did play spoiler, even on that rotation that you liked. This play right here.
This rotation was brilliant. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes down to the Team Falcons, they understand if they go forward off of Prison Roof, they are going to run into about 3 or 4 different players that are sitting on top of the water tower. That's not a good option, and it gets really scrappy going from there, either over towards Control or even a little bit further. It's not easy, so they take the best course of action. They go left, they use the side of the hill as cover, and eventually come to the backside of Abwiz and his crew, who's already in a fight, mind you, I believe with Omit, who's just above them. So for me, that was a great rotation. Seymour, you do see it a bit different, though.
I mean, you had top Prison in your control. Nobody was going to be contesting you. You had Fnatic a little bit ahead of you, and you had underneath you was Aizen, but there was so much time to make that rotation. I don't think it was the wrong call to drop off of Prison over and towards that zone. I think it was a little bit too early. I think Falcons got a little bit too hungry seeing those teams fighting. They wanted to jump in on that opportunity. They thought they could take that control, but instead they kind of put themselves in a path where they had to move through so many teams just to get to that final circle, and I didn't think I agreed with it. It didn't really pay off for them.
Yeah, and I will say, to be fair, I think their immediate thought was, we have to deal with Abwiz. You knew Abwiz was going to be by the docks. You knew they were going to be a constant problem, because if they do push to Prison at that point from the low ground, you know that Abwiz are going to try and take you down. So getting rid of Abwiz, I think that was just their priority in the moment.
Well, Abwiz is actually one of the most perfect segues. Abwiz, we had a chance to actually speak to him. Hear what he had to say as he's tearing it up on the battlefield. What did Abwiz say?
Hey guys, it's Puckett backstage. AB Wiz just came off the stage, and I wanted to ask you about, so far, your team's performance. Through 4 drops, you seem to be right in the middle of the heap. We almost saw you win a round. How do you feel the team's playing?
A little frantic, a bit uncoordinated. It's just, we have 2 really slow games, so we're trying to make up for it, and it's kind of costing us now. But
it's still
not over, so.
I was going to say, you still have a second half coming up here, and the comeback is always alive with that multiplier being a 2.0 for a first place. What is it going to take for you guys to take that spot?
First place, I don't know if it's even possible anymore, but of course, every single placement is a big gap in the money, so we're still going to go out there and take every point we can.
And who's been your toughest opponent so far on your drop spot?
Nobody's fighting us. That's the thing. We cleared it out the past 2 days in the group stages, and nobody fights us anymore, so now we're having to row, which we didn't do yesterday. We just took the kills as they came, and then, yeah, we rotated with the loot that we got from those kills, but now we're having to rotate into kills, and it's just a different ballgame.
Well, just so you know, the fans are going wild for you guys when you're on the screen in the chat. Best of luck moving forward. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers, bud.
There it is. Abba was saying nobody's challenging them. They want to fight, but nobody wants to fight them. And can you blame the competition? They're on fire. And speaking of which, so are we. Game 4 is done. Let's get into game number 5 and keep the tournament going.
Thanks, Taylor Reflections Noble. Hey, I love that we had a great breakdown there of some of the teams. And frankly, I think the best word for it was frantic. You heard it from Maybe Wiz. I think that's the case for most of the teams. Everybody looks so frantic on the map besides our top 3 teams.
I was going to say, and maybe there's some lack of experience, veterancy that's being missed right now. But the good news for the teams that had a great map is the jump that both Guild and Vitality just put together, able to snap up above not just AB Wiz, but also SGP Syndicate. They're still kind of in shouting distance.
Yeah,
maybe not touching distance in the top 3, but they're at least in the picture now with those good maps.
Well, reminder, Vitality with that map just jumped like $40,000. Okay, like a huge jump. I know we're talking about 4th place, and Abwas even just said, like, I don't even know if 1st is possible anymore. Don't love the mentality, but maybe mathematically could be somewhat correct. But we got to talk about the top as we're about to hop into this map. A 20-point gap, which means that gap was not lessened, gained, nothing. It's the exact same as it was before. But Shift, my friend, it's time to jump into game.
This could be a fun one.
Number 6 is here. Ladies and gentlemen, the crowd's going wild. Keep that energy up. Cheer for your favorite teams. I'm sure it's either Twisted Minds or maybe it is the Falcons. Here we go. Fnatic on top, though. We'll see if maybe one of our oldest orgs in the game can grab a victory here in Warzone.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing about, the conversation around our teams in the middle is, again, what landing spots do you want to keep going to? Because we've seen it. This battle for Prison has been pretty huge, and once again, we've got Na'Vi fighting up against Amit. This time, Amit are prepared for it. 10X able to get the high ground, so the pistol works out. A little battle up close and personal, gets the crack, and a little bit of a help for, I believe, what was a knock. So again, Na'Vi in trouble. No, Zeppa just hits the dirt, so he's just trying to play a little bit of survival tactics right now.
Yeah, what's crazy about this hot drop, this is just 8th versus 9th, just chalking each other's tournaments. I mean,
Correct.
over and over again, destabilized, trading each other's kills. It looks like Na'Vi getting the short end of the stick on this fight. They were trying to hunt Limax down here just to wipe him off the map and get rid of him, but player has gotten right back into it. So these are great kills for Omid if they can grab all of them, which it looks like they likely will.
Yep.
They've got a nice early lead over most of the competition, winning their early drop with, I think, a total of 3 eliminations. Only the Zix team doing that off screen.
Na'Vi has got to be, well, saying words in Australian that are very appropriate, but not for this broadcast. They have to be frustrated. 10th, 11th, and 12th have been their placements so far, which is so different from yesterday. But that's what happens. When you got teams like Guild, teams like Fnatic that want to put a lot of presence topside Prison, they're just not comfortable on these drops.
Twisted Minds, a top team, a frustrating last map, slowly falling down the leaderboard, about 9 points behind the Falcons. They need another good one, they need it now. Again, we're playing for a lot of money at the top. $200,000 if you win, plus the 50K bounty, plus just the title of an Esports World Cup champion.
Yeah, just a lot of things on the line there, brother. It's a whole laundry list of things you could check through, as Falcons actually have a good idea of who's around them. This is the Heretic squad, who often stay very safe and get last circle preference, but has not been the case yet today, and the Falcons look like they're trying to reap the reward of possibly finding some free kills. That will be at least an opportunity for Shifty to get up the ladder, but again, that just feels like Heretics are going to give away that spot.
But you know, one team that's not changing up their strategy is the Falcons. They're sending 2 out, they're leaving Hisoka in Stronghold by himself. There's not anyone close to Hisoka in a country mile, as Twisted Minds do clean up a couple kills here on screen, here in Factory. Again, these top teams, they're kind of farming some of the squads that are really struggling today, adding insult to injury. If you can mental boom a team, I mean, you're going to catch all of them for free and maybe even more.
Well, here's the thing. Keep an eye on this fight, because Heretics think they may be able to find this remote building to get themselves looted up again. That's not the case. Aiden does pre-fire the corner. Trust that Knight can follow up. Good bait and switch coming through. And yeah, Heretics have no drop spot right now. You can see the other member, number 12, is just floating through the backside of the gas, just trying to find something for them to land on.
Yeah, and lurking in the corner, the Falcons are here. They've got a nice sight line. That's probably who's shooting at Aiden right now. Shifty and Biffle up on high ground with a nice angle. Couple teams in this area. It looks like Na'Vi trying to regain in Factory as well, which certainly isn't going to go well. You can see Limax over by Shifty, but back to Prison we go. We see Fnatic on top. They've got a nice 4 to 5 kills in total as a team, and seemingly all is clear on the Western front.
Yeah, and they've cleared the Western front. Now they're going to the Eastern front. They know that, hey, if we're not seeing anything over towards this backside area, there must be someone on the opposite, as once again, here is that little revive trying to come through for Na'Vi, completely denied. They're running into full squads wherever they try try to land. Other teams that are doing the same thing right now, Heretics we talked about, but also new Icons. Neither of these teams can find any stable ground to get any loot.
Off screen, Omit knows the script. Hisoka by himself. They know if we go Stronghold, we saw Shifty and Biffle way up into living quarters. We know we can drop on Hisoka as a team of 3 and win that, striking away at their anchor and taking Stronghold for ourselves. So now Omit is the only team in Stronghold, as it looks like, well, unfortunately, Fnatic is continuing their tear through this map, taking out Zix and fully eliminating them from the lobby.
Well, and that's kind of the thing, right? Like, you may be able to isolate our anchor, but when our front line is that far forward, winning so many gunfights, the anchor just moves. You just pass the baton and say, okay, now we're going to anchor ourselves around living quarters. And again, Na'Vi cannot get their boots on the ground, man. They're getting absolutely destroyed. They just cannot find a way to get together and find any loot whatsoever.
I mean, they're farming them, literally. This looks like ranked. You're taking out 2, you're leaving 1 alive, and then you're farming them as they fall back in because they don't have their loadout. It's just as simple as that. Now Omit having to rotate in. They're going to run back into the Falcons. The Falcons want their position back, and unfortunately, falling, but should be totally fine here. No real angles from Omit, not yet. But that's what Elo's going for. Has some loadout weapons, has the angles. The high ground here is huge because the only way up here is via a ladder. Or, of course, flying back in after you die. So, should be feeling pretty comfortable here unless a C4 hits him in the face.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those moments where it's breach and clear. There's the C4, there's the smoke, there's the play. I mean, Exhibit A of how to break a ladder setup, showcased by the Falcons. They will, again, anchor up this living quarters position. Omit will have to drop over towards strongholds, and then we now need to take a look to see what else will happen with the other teams trying to regain, because everyone's trying to get to this bottom side of the map, which is where the circle's starting to pull towards.
Well, we got to go check in on Guild in the middle of the map in
Good
Prison.
call, yeah.
Again, a fight for Prison. It looks like it's likely Fnatic on top, Guild down below. Guild has won the low ground, Fnatic has won the high ground. Off the offhand side here over by Kim, it looks like, again, Heretics cannot get anything going.
Yeah, the other thing about this is not only are new Icons pretty much a full squad, but below them is number 9 in that kind of salmon color. That's SGP Syndicate. So again, there's no free ground to land on anywhere.
Well, it looks like off screen we've got Skullface fighting Knight. Looks like squad 7's out of here, by the way. Our second squad to fall yet again. Aizen can't get anything going with Guild in the way. Bottom Prison is all Guild's territory right now, especially the last 2 maps. It looks like Twisted Mind's in a bit of a blender as well. It was actually Fnatic that pushed over and cleared them off that POI. But now, back here to Twisted Minds, this is what I'm talking about. Look at this restabilization. They're in a blender, which could open a window of opportunity. And here comes it. You can see it, Team 2, lurking in the shadows. Fnatic want to take down Twisted Minds. That's their main competition right now.
The problem is Twisted Minds have a very free and safe loadout drop, plus the ammo drop to get themselves essentially right back to where they finished from when they dropped. So even though it may not feel comfortable in terms of the positions they hold, they do have the full weapons that they want. Also, another scope over towards that backside of ship. They are going to be able to find number 10. That is Na'Vi again, who continue to just get farmed up by every squad bottom side of the map.
Oh, that's so free for Falcons. I mean, they're getting free kill after free kill. Na'Vi will not be fully eliminated. They're still alive. The Falcons are on 11 already, and it's almost entirely on the backs of Na'Vi, who's handed them kills. And unfortunate for them, Navi's doing what they can. There's nothing wrong about what they're trying to do. They just can't stabilize. They're getting killed everywhere they try to land. And we're going to head back to last map winners. Raul on 4, still fighting over here with Control, and it's Omit back on Control, taking this position, especially with new zone coming.
Yeah, Omit decided they didn't want to fight Falcons anymore.
That's right.
Yeah, so you rotate up to try to get some positioning around the top side of the circle where Control Center is. And like you said, it is going to be Team Destroy up in that area. But still, Falcons just spreading the map. I mean, they have, and you can see it on this expanded mini-map right now, they have got the entire bottom third of the map. Just because they're playing so spread, they're finding individual kills, and it's putting a lot of stress on all these teams trying to regain right before we get our resurgence close.
Yeah, it's really this Falcon squad, south side or southwest side of the map. You've got Factory locked down by Twisted Minds. And frankly, top Prison's Fnatic, bottom Prison is Guild. And that's how it's been all day today. Those are some of our top teams. Guild just finally making a late resurge here. Could have another good game. They're on 7 off screen, but the Falcons are on 14 right now. It's not close, and we still have a few more seconds, about a minute and a half or so until that resurgence timer closes.
Guild and Fnatic are fighting right now. If we can get either squad 11 or 2 right, this would be pivotal, because whoever wins that battle out is going to get full prison control. And kind of looking at it, at least on our expanded map, it looks like Guild have pushed off Fnatic almost completely. So Guild in a great spot to try to come from the north side of the map and possibly one-up their performance from last game.
Yeah, look at this Allman all by himself. does have a portable buy station if he needs it, is going to go ahead and just re-buy back his teammates. Not going to take any risks here. We still have 55 seconds on Resurgence, but if you wait 20 seconds, look who's lurking, look who's coming. The Falcons know they are flying in, they are soaring for power position, and right now, it is HQ.
Yeah, they see Almond's buyback, and they say, okay, does she want to buy someone up here? We'll just head right on over. Again, they've controlled this bottom third of the map for free. Now all the streaks start to rain on in. Skullface on the way back, trying to get himself some safety. He's got to go all the way to the bottom floor. So once again, Falcons in a position to try to swoop in on this, but also the same way, AB Wiz, top side of the high ground, has got to look at this as well.
Well, this is a brand new AB Wiz team. They're playing a totally different strategy. Let's get top prison. Why not? We haven't seen them top prison since, I think, game 1 of group stages, finally making a move to the inner parts of the map rather than the outer parts, and seemingly finding some success, finding Ahsoka, as we see another fight here on the left-hand side of the map, trying to gain some sort of power position, but right now, the only teams near prison that have any sort of semblance of stabilization. Quick look at the map here, as Lucanus is trying to find the Syndicate team, and our Resurgence closes. Everybody wanted prison. The problem is, it's now on Factory, which means Twisted Minds, if they can stay alive here, should have the best spot.
Yeah, absolutely the case. The other thing about this, with the circle starting to close, the fast side of the circle is through prison. So teams like Guild, teams like AB Wiz, teams like Amit, that we've all talked about being on the north side, will have to rotate down towards Fnatic and Falcons. Things are going to get really, really messy as the circle starts to close here in the next 20 seconds on that top side of the map. Definitely keep your eye to see what AB Wiz and Guild can do from prison.
Fanatics getting torn apart. Resurgence timer down. They're also out of cash. I mean, we've already just spent about $7 grand getting our teammates back just a moment ago. All of a sudden, you're last alive, you're Almond, you only have 1,700. That might have been an error. He's got a buy station up with him. He just doesn't have the cash.
Yeah.
He could have saved a little bit of time, but it's just high risk, high reward playstyle. You had to risk it, and right now, they are in a blender, which is good for just about every other team. But the Falcons are on 16, and they are lurking, waiting, looking for Almond, trying to get that team wiped.
Almond's screwed. He's out of the picture. He's just hoping he can find some sort of a play to get to the top 8. But again, watch the rotation on your minimap. Kill the team number 13, team number 11. That's what we're looking at. That's Amit and Guild that are going to be in absolute battles with one another. Vision able to drop himself back in. Behind this play, the late rotators will be AB Wiz. It's going to get messy here at headquarters.
Yeah, Guild is getting real dirty down below as we lose Pat Zuka. Not going to repeat that success this time around, falling at about 12th or 11th now. We have 11 teams remaining. We're not even close to the multiplier yet, and we're moving in towards 5th circle. Crazy to see this situation with Almond still last alive, yet AB Wiz holding on, 9 eliminations in total, and they're just trying to throw a hope and a prayer with a grenade to maybe get a knock to try to send, because they have the long side of the zone. Look at where it pulls, all the way to Twisted Minds. They are ready to take this game.
Yeah, I'll just make a bold prediction here, Coach. We got 11 teams alive right now. By the time this circle closes, we're going to have 3. Everyone is going to be in a blender, trying to rotate down in, like you mentioned, Twisted Minds and Syndicate without question in the best current positions. It just comes down to, do they forfeit those and try to third party with all these actions coming on?
You need kills, 16 still for Falcons. They haven't found any in the last 2.5 minutes. AB Wiz says, why not the gondola? Let's try it. Well, the problem with the gondola, there's like no cover. They go prone. They do make it with a little bit of visual. Cams, Heretics somehow restabilize, trying to find some sort of success. Problem is, you got to open up your shoulder to another team, and there are so many in the area. Still 11, but you're right. It's about to get real mixy. We're about to go down to 5 here shortly, as Almond does win his ones. Always wins his ones. The problem is, you've got no resources. All you have is a self-revive. I don't know if he's going to make it in. This could be a window of opportunity, as it looks like Guild wiping teams left, right, and center. Off to the other side. Fnatic is out of here. Window of opportunity open for some of our bottom teams, with the Falcons still alive, holding that window shut, saying not today.
You got Falcons in the high ground, safe side of the corner, destroys deep in one of the buildings that's going to have to be pushed out, and then Guild other side, playing through the gas. Those are your 3 healthiest teams right now. It's just down to who finds who first.
All of a sudden, Guild is in contention to slowly creep towards this top 3. Guild is about to make a move up this leaderboard. They can stay together. They're losing one. It looks like Visions is pushing out. Omit's going big off screen. That's actually Syndicate falling. Not a full wipe, but dang close. 8. We found our multiplier, but the question is, where do we go from here when this circle is this small?
Amit has got himself a little corner. The circle's going to continue to force them to have to move very rapidly, though. Guild also being shredded by every single squad because the Falcons are up top, and they force Guild down to the low ground. Destroyed from the other side. The other full squad of 3, and here we go. Final circle moves towards destroy.
Syndicate out. Omit continuing to find a tear. They're also a full team of 3. They have the short into the zone. All they have to move through is somehow Navi, who's still in this game, likely only a couple kills to boot. I can't imagine it's going to be a huge point value, but they are extra bodies in the way. You lose resources, you might lose. The Falcons do not lose gunfights. Team Destroy can't do anything. Biffle on 1 single HP, but it doesn't matter. You've got resources, you've got position. The Falcons are in position to win this with 2.
That was a stupid rotation from Falcons. Up and over behind Destroy, catches them completely by surprise. Still fully healthy though. Omit, they're looking to get the wrap. They may surprise Falcons here from behind.
Guild is out. They get 6. Navi gets 5th. No multipliers for Guild. They desperately needed it. Unfortunately, 1.2. We're into the final 5 and Omit. You're never going to leave them out. That's what their name means. Destroy's out of here in 4. 3 teams remaining. Omit might have a small advantage, but the problem is positioning. Look at where the Falcons are. It is a Falcon range way up in their nest, just firing down on the teams below. The problem is, look at the zone shift resources. We're out on gas map.
Yep.
This is going to get real mixy.
And the thing about it is Omit just may be the healthiest team. They're playing very passive, but it may work out because eventually Falcons will have to try to make a move. And it looks like Biffle may be the one to call it. Here comes the fight though down low.
Wow.
Omit able to take care of new icons. Everyone's low. Here would be the time for the Falcons to swoop in and try to clean up. Omit down to their last member. Falcons able to come through, find the kill, and take the win. High ground superiority continues to be the name of the game.
High ground superiority, third-party superiority. You needed those teams to fight each other, and Omit needed to take the fight. They were down on the leaderboard. Second place gives you a 1.7x. Unfortunately for them, Drake says, how about I 1v3?
Yeah.
Like, Drake goes massive. That's a 1.7 for that squad. I don't know how much it's going to really influence the overall leaderboard, but shout out to the Falcons. They do grab a victory. Massive win, great positioning, and great patience for a team that loves to slay out.
Yeah, and to be honest, you know, in terms of the overall tournament expectations, it's been Falcons, Falcons, Falcons. We needed to see a little bit of a bounce back from them. Not to sit there and say that they've played poorly, but coming off of a 4th place and an 8th place in their last 2 games, it does feel like, okay, let's just not forget that these guys still are very much the heavy favorites for the tournament.
Yeah, a massive win. They feel good about that one. The celebration wasn't nearly as excessive as it was before. I think they're noticing this competition's really, really tight. We only have a couple more games to go. But reminder, Fnatic, the top team going into this, a 20-point margin, they fell in about 10th place. So a lot of ground was just made up by the Falcons. Really excited to see where that leaderboard falls. We're going to head to a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We're into the end game. 2 more maps to go.
All right, what's up, everybody? We are here with Aiden from Twisted Minds for a little pre-EWC interview. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, are you?
I am. The travel was a little bit, but honestly, it was all worth it. It's cool to see a different side of the world and just be here to compete and do something that I love.
Quick question. You've been a top-tier competitor across multiple titles, right? Like, you've been at the top of a couple of them. What is something invaluable that you have learned along the way through competing?
I think one thing that I've learned, like, since I've, throughout my career is, like, patience. Honestly, it's, like, one of the biggest things. I feel like at the start, looking back at the start of my career, I'm like, wow, if I was just more patient, like, I would have done so much better. And I feel like as I've gone on, maybe it's just like as a human, I've learned more patience.
Older?
Yeah, it could have been because I've gotten older, but I think patience has been like the biggest thing for me, like growing as a competitor.
I feel like I've seen that even just in like Warzone alone. Like,
yeah.
Since your early days to like now, like,
yeah.
You're still like, you're this aggressive player, but like you're still like, you're like very patient.
Yeah,
You
so I
gotta
try to
rein it
find the
back in.
right times, and even I'm still learning now, but like, yeah, I think my patience has definitely gone up a little bit.
All right, awesome. So obviously Resurgence is very different from Big Map, right? And you're one of the few teams who's not playing with their World Series of Warzone trio, right? So for maybe people who aren't as familiar, why did you and Smith pick up Gorgo Knight?
Yeah, so our teammate for World Series and on the Big Map is DJ. We've actually only been teaming with him for like maybe a month or 2 now, so I don't think our chemistry is like, we haven't been playing with him for like years.
Sure.
And with Knight, we actually played a lot of Resurgence with him in the past. We've won a ton of money with him on Resurgence, and I know that Knight himself is very knowledgeable about the map, so I didn't I knew it would be a good pickup. Obviously, like switching from our World Series teammate
Sure.
might be a little bit awkward because we've already been playing with him a ton. But like I said, Knight has a lot of experience on the map. I think he's definitely going to be able to help us stuff with that maybe we, haven't been up to date on. And yeah, like we just have experience with him. I think that's the main reason.
I love that. When you look at the rest of the competition this week, who is a player you actually like really respect when it comes to playing in a high stakes environment? Like this?
I feel like I gotta say Biffle. Like he just.
Oh, okay, come on.
I feel like it's such a default answer, but he's been around for. Was that like the question? Like just I mean.
No, it's however you want to answer.
I
mean,
mean,
whoever you respect, like you're like, hey, like this guy's about to fry out, and like I don't want to mess with him.
Yeah, I mean. I feel like Biffle's just so consistent, and like he's been doing it for so long. Like he's just been there since the start of Warzone, and he's here now, and he's still placing like probably the best,
Yeah.
So I gotta give him credit where it's due, man. I'm going Biffle.
All right. Hey, Team Falcons is everybody's favorite. This event, so.
They're looking good, but
hey, I'm hoping that maybe we got someone who can hold a candle there.
Yeah,
Maybe you might be that team. This is a fun one. So your dad's a very vocal supporter of you. You're able to bring your girlfriend with you on this trip as well. How important has like their kind of support been in your success over the years?
I think it's been huge for me. A lot of times if I'm ever like stressed out about a tournament or whatever the issue may be, especially my girlfriend, she's very comforting, very like always giving me solutions on how to fix things. So she's definitely very, very comforting for me and helpful off the scene that people don't really see.
Yeah.
And same thing with my family support. I mean, like they just push me and drive me to want to be a better version of myself. Even my grandpa watches all my tournaments.
Heck
like
yeah.
he already messaged me. He's like, "Is this being live streamed? Like, can you send me the Twitch link?" Like, they're super supportive, and they definitely like give me that motivation I need.
That's awesome. It's super cool. I know that's like kind of like a theme with a couple of the players who like when they have family like that who are like asking them to watch the streams and stuff.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's like people forget like you're a large content creator, right?
Yeah.
I think people forget that sometimes that like you still got to be a little bit humble and that you still also need those people to be in your corner to
100%.
doing things like this to help drive you.
It pushes you, man. It does.
I love that. So you've played underneath a few orgs in your day, across your career. But for this event, you're going to be underneath the Twisted Minds banner. Playing in their home country at that. What does it mean to you to represent them in a very prestigious event like this?
Yeah, no, it's an honor, especially because they're based in Saudi. I had a talk with them, and they're super excited to pick us up, and we're excited to work with them and just bring Twisted Minds a chip and play at EWC and rep them.
I think that's awesome. I was really, really excited when people started getting picked up by orgs. When I saw that your org was picked up, obviously being able to be here, like you're probably actually going to have some fans. Like one of the few teams who has fans in the crowd rooting for them and cheering for them. That's going to be super
exciting for sure.
Yeah, because I know obviously at past tournaments you haven't always had that. So nice change of pace.
For sure.
Awesome. Cool. All right, well, thanks, Aiden, for talking to us. Do you have anybody you want to shout out? Anything you want to say to your fans?
Yes, I definitely want to give a shout out to my community that's going to be watching at home. Shout out to the Alliance. Shout out to my family, my dad, my mom, my grandpa. I know you guys are all going to be watching at home. Thank you guys. Shout out to my girlfriend for being my support system. She's going to be here rooting for me as well. And shout out to all the fans in Saudi and everyone from Twisted Minds. That's it.
Awesome.
You ever wondered how a Hollywood movie is shot? On a Sony. You review it on a Sony. And how do you make that sound epic? You record it on a Sony. Lunch break on a Sony. So why wouldn't you watch it on a Bravia by Sony?
Where is your favorite place to drop on Rebirth Island?
I gotta go Prison. Prison's just like the center. It's like the highest elevated point.
Sure.
You can go anywhere you want after. Only problem I have, every time I land there, I don't know what it is. There's like no money there when I try to get like buy a gun off the buy station.
Sure.
Besides that, I love the action. I love just getting involved right away. I'm going Prison.
Okay, now here's the second part too to that.
Okay.
Are we going fat side, small side, showers,
Ooh.
kitchen, lobby?
I'm usually landing. Can I point here?
You can absolutely point here.
I am usually landing on top of one of these right here.
Top of the
and
doors.
just going rogue. Usually, you know, I'm playing solo quads and I'm just dead right away. And then I land somewhere else or just land in the bottom. So if I had to pick a safe spot, I like right in here on the bottom.
Yeah.
The
showers.
that's like
See,
the
that
showers
door on the side.
Yep. That's safe. That's usually pretty safe. There's like chests and stuff down there. That's a little bit more of a calm drop.
That makes me feel good because that is my drop spot.
Yeah.
So
come on, we're a duo, man.
Let's
we're a duo.
go. Next duos, maybe
Yeah,
we'll
we're
have
running
duos
it up.
next year.
Yeah.
Well, folks, welcome back. We're in the end game. 2 more maps to go. Shift. The Falcons just capped off a nice 21-kill victory for I think a total of 42 points overall. That 2x multiplier. Where did Amit climb to? Where did some of our other teams climb to? Where was Guild?
Yeah.
Still a lot of big question marks, but the Falcons likely have retaken the top spot. It's going to be very, very close. Quick look at the leaderboard. Ooh, not as close as I thought. Fnatic did fall very early. The crowd goes wild as they see Falcons on top, 185 points.
Fnatic, a 10th place finish, but 11 kills. So again, they kind of mitigate the damage done right there and at least some affiliation towards what the Falcons are putting together. But I will tell you, there's a meatball out in the arena, and it's a spicy one from the Falcons. Looking super solid. I mean, again, their ability to put together points is unrivaled to this release stage at the moment. But some teams cooking with a little bit more heat all of a sudden. Amit, Guild getting themselves in the picture. 2 more drops to see if they can keep it up.
Here we go. The crowd's getting excited because we're in the end game. Match number 7. Only 2 maps to go to crown your champion. The very first champion of the Esports World Cup. Here with Warzone and, well, back to Guild we go as they win this gunfight yet again. I feel like they're trying to send a message to Eisend, and unfortunately it's not being received.
But that one, clean as all get out. So now you can essentially sit here and say, let's let them respawn back in and see if we can farm them a little bit. Madi also, seen from the top side, he will drop. Navi, other part of the map over towards Control Center. They continue to battle over the top of usually what is a mid. So now we've got a couple of these squads who need points starting to actually win out in their preferred zones.
Yeah, history continues to repeat itself, map after map. Nobody changing up strategies, at least not the maps we can see. You've got Omit and Navi continuing to fight each other. You've got Rodrigo, you've got Guild fighting each other, and the same team's mostly winning. Omit coming out on top on this one, at least for a moment here. They had a pretty solid last map. They did just barely fall in third, which is heartbreaking if you're an Omit fan. They did have around 14, 15 eliminations, so looking stronger. They got to make a move now, though. They cannot hang out here in this fight for too long. This is the quagmire we talked about.
Correct, but both teams don't want to give this up. Amit off their respawn, able to put themselves in a fighting condition, but There again, the mortar strike being called in. It forces everyone onto the interior. Limax trying to chase down what could be one of the final kills, but again, it's just not as clean as what we saw from yesterday from Na'Vi. They're not able to find the kills to get Amit completely to bounce out of control center. As we head over towards Syndicate, this is the other side of the map towards Chem. They've done well to find most of new icons who are stuck now at Harbor.
Yeah, Syndicate's really got a bit quiet for me, at least.
Yeah,
I mean, we've been waiting on Dongi to kind of wake up, and you heard it in the interview. He actually talked about it. People are changing up the strategies, and apparently it's coming back to bite them. Believe does get taken out by Vitality. Would love to see them step up in the end game to try to make a late game push up this leaderboard. Folks, reminder, tons of money on the line. It's $1 million, and it's all delineated through all of these teams. So every position you climb means more cash to your name. As all of a sudden, Omit is wiped. Na'Vi, wake up. You've taken out a team. It's time to make a move now.
Problem is Falcons is right here. So Na'Vi is just not going to get a chance to sit there and take a breath. Falcons, who are clean, uncontested on strongholds as they often are now saying, let's get involved. We got our loadouts. Let's see if we can bully out some teams. And not only are they going to find Na'Vi, they may have an idea that Destroy's team is nearby.
Yeah, Zix here as well. Yeah, that's that #1 team right around the corner. They're red. And this is really smart from the Falcons because they know that spot's been contested the whole time. They hear the signal flares that are the bullets flying in the air, so they're going to keep cooking. But speaking of cooking, Prison. It's on fire right now. Look how many teams are at Prison. Some on top, some below, some people floating. But right now, Fnatic in trouble. Breaking cameras, breaking ankles, working together as a team. Cams does finally fall.
But AB Wiz is here. You've got Guild still in pieces. Izund has been able to farm up a little bit more, so everyone still fighting over towards the yard. Skullface down. Whoa! Whoa! King AJ puts him on his face. Oh my goodness, it looked like Skullface had him dead to rights, but King AJ with a little turn and burn.
We gotta go to Guild. They're on 11? Shit, we haven't even started closing this first circle. Are you kidding me? We're just now about to get to second, and they're on 11 kills, double digits from Prison. Guild is taking over Prison right now, opening up the bottom of this leaderboard and wiping them all out.
Pushed off Izund again. I mean, they're just legitimately dominating over the top of Prison. And it does feel like they don't want to deal with the minutia of let's have some loot, let them have some loot, then let's battle. It's no, let's just beat them with pistols. And so far, that has worked out for their last consecutive drop. So now on the reset, SGP Syndicate have to find a spot to land. Guild not going to be able to see too much. They do see a lot of loadout drops right towards the backside of Prison, so expect them to kind of keep their eye on that.
Yeah, and it also means you can see why. Look at that. Prodigy down below with Believe, Maddie, Skullface still there. All these teams trying to regain. You put Fnatic on your back foot, that's exactly what Falcons wants.
Yeah.
This is ideal. They might be just saying, hey, Guild, you keep doing your thing. We're going to clean up the other side, and they're going to hang out here in Stronghold for a moment, get their loadout, and then move on their merry way and clean up a couple more players.
And keep an eye on Zix, though. They might be feeling a little froggy here. They're dropping in right to the front side of Stronghold, and they may be forced to have to take a fight. But onto the other side of the map, again, there's going to be a lot of contact over towards this backside of Prison. AB Wiz is on the regain, so don't expect them to be looking for a fight anytime soon. Falcons do get the alert that, yep, Zix is nearby. Hisoka able to deal with Hamoud, and then Shifty with the smoke will make sure that Ripple can get back into the action.
It's just a perfect team fight. You're never going to beat the Falcons in a true 3v3, and let alone a 2v3 where it's in their favor. They send 2 out usually and win those, so when you're down in numbers against Falcons, good luck, my friends. But again, yeah, you're right. We saw AB Wiz run out of Prison. It was because of Guild. Guild got back into the bottom of showers and pushed everybody back out. Guild is on fire right now, looking for more, as it looks like finally Maddie able to drop one of the Guild members off screen, as again, the Falcons playing around with this Zix squad, trying to eliminate them and then move up into living quarters.
Yeah, this fight here is a little bit inconsequential. They're going to sit here and have this battle for a while. The ones that we really need to keep our eye on are what's happening topside at Prison once again. AB Wiz has gotten themselves into fighting form. You've got SGP, Syndicate, and Guild that are in the area, but Syndicate are on the bounce back. Guild, not as much. A couple of staggers, but they have full weapons for the last 2 members, but they're still standing strong.
Yeah, and we actually see a couple of Vitality trying to make a move into Prison as they're trying to regain. AJ does take Water Tower after a regain, and well, PAs galore, nobody's going to wipe him off. So several teams off screen, not able to make a move onto Prison. And again, War says, hey, we got bottom Prison. Why not top as well? Yep. Almond with an angle here. Watch out for the snipes. It does not matter. War's great tracking and the cleanup, and no bullets fired. It does not look like Fnatic can get anything going this map entirely because of this Guild team.
Yeah, the Guild strategy hasn't necessarily been radically changed, but they are getting more aggressive early and saying, we'll take our battles from the moment we hit the ground. And with them winning them, they can hold on to that bottom side Prison way better than they had previously. Over towards Na'Vi, the game has been for them Reset, regain, reset, regain. Can we find a spot to land? And now they may have a small window here. Destroy has largely been dropping over towards the docks, but Na'Vi could potentially fight this with a couple of members from Vitality also staggeredly trying to work their way in through dock.
Quick nod to that leaderboard, by the way. Guild is still in 4th, but they jumped all the way up to 94.5 points, so about a 50-point spread as Na'Vi tries to jump about 50 points is what they need, and unfortunately, Destroy's team playing perfectly together to find 2 and leave Limax trying to regain.
Yeah, this pretty much throws Na'Vi out of the conversation for top 5 in my mind. They just have not been able to get any ground to work with. Nothing towards control, nothing towards headquarters, and nothing towards the docks. Really unfortunate scenes after what was a very strong group stage for them. On the regain over towards Falcons, though, trying to find some ground with the Heretics members. Again, this was a battle that happened early on in towards this initial drop, and it looks like for Hisoka, they have an idea that someone else is here, but we'll take a look as we look at the rest of the map. A lot of open space through headquarters at the moment as team number 2 and Fnatic have used that as their staging ground to try to get aggressive.
Yeah, look at this map view. The only people even in the zone are what? Fnatic, Guild barely, and a couple people lurking on the outskirts, and then that Zix team who actually hit a redeploy drone, swung all the way over, flying in because they saw a wide open living quarters station. The problem with this Zix squad is that if the Falcons come out of this alive, that's where they're going next. So here we go, still back to the Falcons, want to make sure they win this. It is a full team of 3 versus 3, and well, it's looking like Heretics can't get anything going as expected.
Yeah, Heretics are still trying to float in. That's the big thing. So it's one of those situations that as much as there was a member there to contest them, the rest of the Heretics were hoping there was more ground for them to get loot. Not the case, so they have to reset. Back towards Guild. They continue to find stray members of Team Izund, but keep an eye on number 5 in green on your minimap. That's AB Wiz & Co. Fully healthy, hearing all these shots. They've turned their attention over towards Prison. They may try to third party this.
Yeah, I think it's a great shout. I think they need to. They're charging in through the bottom right now. Watch out. They're about to come busting through the doors. But King AJ is ready, checking all the corners, and actually going to play a little bit of a high ground position here. Goes back up to the mid-range, finds an angle. I think they know that some of these teams are going to try to push to them, especially with the zone pull right now. King Mahdi's team continuing to try to regain on the outskirts. That's that yellow 7 we've been seeing all day. And then back to the Falcons we go, as guess what? They're moving up not towards living quarters this time, but back to control, where they've farmed teams in the past. The question is, will Na'Vi put up a fight this time around? It's not looking like it, as Fnatic back dominant again in a tower. They are in trouble. They are on their back foot.
Yeah, the members for Guild continue to just win out the bottom spots over towards Prison. But again, AB Wiz's team has now fully rotated with all 3 members. They've been able to catch vision, but there's also Team Izund in the way. So with only a couple more moments here before we start to lose respawn, Guild need to take a breath. You cannot force this gunfight. King AJ is going to get some control here over towards headquarters. That's where the rest of Guild are going to land and try to get themselves back to fighting form, as we see the battle between Izund and AB Wiz play out in the kill feed, and it was clean for team number 7 in yellow.
It took a while for AB Wiz to get there, and unfortunately that delay means see ya later, you are out of here. Circle closing, the siren sounding. It sounds like Resurgence is about to close, my friends, which means it's about to get real mixy as Biffle continues to find kills in the kill feed. Not as fast of a start as we've seen in the past. There's a little bit of a slow play here because of this Heretics team just being a thorn in their side. It's not a problem, it just means they're not going to drop maybe 30 kills like Fnatic did earlier. Quick look at the map. You saw the circle. You still have Zix team on the edge, and a ton of squads having to rotate through Prison and Factory, where Twisted Minds might start getting mixy. Team 3, look at them, orange, light orange over there, fighting Team 14. That's a big fight.
Yeah, it's going to be really important one for Twisted Minds, because Icons are on a bit of a burner, but Guild, like we mentioned, over here at headquarters, this is where they had to reset towards, and it has not gone particularly well for them. War's down, likely about to be out. AJ as well, also dealt with right as soon as the respawns closed. So now you're just looking at Vision to try to hold on a little while longer to see what he could do, maybe find himself a buy later into this map.
Yeah, he's got to get some resources. Guild's on a barn burner. They're on 16 right now, but only 1 alive. Back to the Falcons. We're in a fight yet again, and we're fighting Zix. Zix will not relent. Crims finds an angle, but again, Biffle always has the trades. Nice play from Ahsoka and Biffle. They have every angle to secure at least one of elimination and take a 2v2. Now they're going to readdress this fight from a different angle and hold on and stay patient. Again, they cannot fall right here if they want to protect their lead.
The other thing about this is there's a couple of squads nearby that could try to third party. I'm looking at new Icons, number 14 and number 6 in Vitality. They have not been in a lot of action lately, so the assumption would be that they could absolutely fight in where they currently stand utility-wise. But largely speaking, everyone is fine right now. Everyone's been able to get back into the map, but you've got a huge collection of players right here outside of headquarters, which is, again, where Guild were trying to land on, but it's now being heavily contested by teams like SGP, Izund, and as well Fnatic, who are also on 14 kills.
Here comes Twisted Minds sneaking through the edge of the zone. Where are the players? They're about to peekaboo on somebody. Somebody's going to get a jump scare here shortly. All going to move together. They are having a little bit of a slow game. Not a lot of people rotating through them. They've just been waiting. They're making a wide wrap through the outside. Look how many teams are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, all on the outside of the zone and all having to move all the way around. Everybody's going to skate this south side of the zone and creep up. Guess to who? The Falcons, all the way on the Stronghold side.
This is a convoy of 3 different